So what's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for coming onto this channel. So as always, what we're going to do is start off with the match stats before we move over to the Premier League games yesterday and my predictions and analysis plus thoughts, plus today's games that we have with Brighton versus Leicester, and of course the big match with United versus Arsenal. So for this game, just to go through the stats as well as my rating as well. So we did lose 4-2 unfortunately to One Day. It was a case where this was the first match of the night that we were playing, and we had to be, up against the tough opposition for the first game. And as always mentioned, One Day are a 4th ranked team on seasons, a very tough opposition, and we're positioned around 9th as well globally on PC. So it's always a good battle to play against them because their play style, it makes you, want to be better. And for this game, we did lose as mentioned 4-2, but we did have more shots, 6 shots in total versus 4 from the opposition. But again, they were more better in terms of the conversion. 4 shots, 4 goals, so touche to them. For myself, I had a 7.6 match rating, 1 goal, 87% passing, 87% dribbling, 2 tackles at 50%, then 4 possessions, 1 and 5 lost. Man of the match was Teak, who also scored a beautiful goal for us for the second one, which was towards the last minutes of the game. He lobbed it over the goalkeeper. But again, always a tough opposition One Day, always a pleasure to play against them. But again, we haven't had that many, let's say, full team players due to school holidays, summer holidays, blah, blah, blah. So looking forward to when we do progress into FIFA 23. And yeah, I think that'll be really nice to play against them on that scene. When we do have a complete team at the moment, we've got a lot of individual players not playing in the right positions. We're still trialing out a lot of players as well. So no, but hopefully you guys enjoy the match. But just to let you know how it went, so we were literally 2 goals down in the first 4 minutes. We were like, what the hell, man? This first game, first night on, it's going to be absolutely demonic. We're going to get demolished, like Aston Villa versus Liverpool style. We were 2-0 down the first goal. I do put my hands up and say, look, I did make the misplace of a pass, which they then, counter-attacked and scored. But then again, we should have been a bit more better defensively for the second goal. But again, it's always hard to give the onus to the AI defenders, which is always a bit difficult. But then, second off, we completely turned it around. It was a case where we really wanted to perform and, showcase that, it was the first match, but we could still, do something. So we did score 2 goals. The first goal coming from myself, where I did dispossess their player. And then it was Sloan that passed over to TP, and then TP forwarded it on to myself for the goal. So a good little passing sequence there. We did also have a very good play where we were controlling the ball throughout the match, and we were very unfortunate not to score again. And then, as mentioned, Teak with a very good goal, a good running from him, and then a lobbed ball over to the goal. So it was a great performance, from what we can do from the team. It was just unfortunate it was the first match that we did play against One Day. Again, a very tough opposition. But then we did play against One Day again in the same night, but I think a couple of games afterwards, and we did defeat them 2-0. So maybe I'll post that video for us tomorrow so you can see the contrast of the games. And of course, when we do and they have a full team, it's a whole different vibe. And hopefully, we could get a friendly with them soon. With a full 11 versus full 11, it's always very interesting when we do play like that. But the lineup side of things, we had right back as Sliv, we had CDM as Snem, centre mids as Sloan and Khalil, and then Cam as myself, and then centre forwards as TP and Teak. So do enjoy the game while we, as mentioned, discuss around today's topic, which is predictions for today's matches, as well as analysis and thoughts on yesterday's games. So, as you guys all know, I am a Liverpool fan. It's just been a bit of a roller coaster ride this year for Liverpool. I just don't understand what's happening. I always said, Mane was always a stronger player in terms of his play style, his physicality, and just the way that he was. He was a key asset for Liverpool, which is being shown now for the Liverpool side of things. Salah hasn't been as potent in both upfront or even assists. Yes, my man is giving and passing a lot of the balls, but he hasn't really converted much from his side of things that he usually tends to, let's say, year over year. So, hopefully his form does pick up, Salah's, and even Nunes, for example. He was unfortunate to, have a very good shot, saved, and then it was rebounded off the post from Pickford. And talking about the goalkeepers, or Pickford and Alisson, it's just unfortunate that both of these two were on, the prime goalkeeping side of things within this game. You know, Pickford having his time of his life, you know, saving some phenomenal shots that were leading on to, let's say, hitting the post. You know, two of his saves hit the post, and then it was unfortunate again with Diaz to hit the post. Like, literally, Liverpool hit the post 3 times, and then Everton once. But it just feels as if there's some sort of, like, juju magic, very similar to, like, you know, Pogba, sorry. I was mentioning, you know, his brother was doing some sort of black magic as well. Similar to, like, Mbappe or some saga going on around 13 million. And now Mbappe as well, from what we know, he does have a transgender, I think, girlfriend or something. So I don't know what's happening around this whole juju magic. I don't know even if it's real or not. But yeah, let's see what happens around that. But again, Liverpool, if they do have a juju magic, I think, you know, Salah needs to do something and really, you know, go to a witch doctor and get that rectified, because their form at the moment, I do see Man United pipping them. But, you know, my forecast has always been Liverpool to be top 2, and then Arsenal and Tottenham 3rd, 4th. But, you know, with the role that Arsenal is doing this season, you know, fantastic play, youthful side as always mentioned, it's only going to be a matter of time for them to actually progress and do well this season. And this is something that's being shown, and hopefully they can keep the consistency up. And I think they've got that morale, the motivation now, which is only going to be, you know, doing well for them with the results that they're going to get. So unfortunate for Liverpool, but again, I think, you know, Pickford and Alisson had the games of their lives in a way. You know, Pickford for sure, Alisson making some fantastic saves, as he does as a one-on-one shot stopper, and both of them, you know, deservedly having a clean sheet. So well done to both. And then yeah, moving over to, let's say, City versus Aston Villa. So as we know, it was a 1-1 draw. It was unfortunate to be a 1-1 draw. I think both teams had the capabilities to score more. It was just unfortunate, for example, with Kevin De Bruyne, his free kick hitting the crossbar. And then, of course, the most controversial one had to be Coutinho, where he was onside when the ball came. But, of course, with his movement, it looked as if he was offside. But the linesman, you know, it's the rules that have now been changed. And, of course, now we've got the likes of VAR to help support these matters. I don't know why the linesman, you know, raised his flag up, and then Coutinho scored a beautiful goal, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I think Edison wouldn't have been able to save that regardless if the game was to continue. You know, his shot was absolutely phenomenal the way it went through. And then when we did realise that, yes, it was onside, and even like Stevie G and whatnot were saying as well, like, look, what the hell's going on, man? And I completely agree as well. If there's a certain rule that, yes, let the game flow, and then afterwards, if it was an offside, raise the flag as an offside. Like, let the game continue. You've got VAR now. If you've made a mistake, then that's fine. It could get rectified. If it's not, then that's fine. It will be a free kick, and you just get like the game flowing from like Man City side. But these type of things, I think VAR has somehow let down a lot of the decisions this year. I think it's been very close with a lot of decisions, as we've seen. But I don't know, there just needs to be some sort of consistency, man, with all these referees. That's my honest opinion. But of course, moving away from that, Haaland, you know, fantastic player, scoring in a lot of goals now, again, guaranteed to be the Golden Boot winner in the Premier League. You know, fantastic back-to-back hat-tricks, and then this goal that he just scored now. It was unfortunate, he could have got 2 goals. Walker made the shot, he could have passed it easily. A very simple goal, and for it to go over to Haaland, but it was just not to be. But Haaland, again, you could just see his physicality, his prowess, his poacher-like ability as a striker, which is something that they needed in that position for Man City. They always had a very, you know, orthodox style since Aguero left, with, like, how do you say, wingers or midfielders being in that striking position. But now they've got an out-for-out striker, and that's something that is going to work wonders for them this year. And, you know, Núñez was something that Liverpool wanted. It's very similar in terms of having an out-for-out striker, but I don't know, he needs to take time, man. I think Núñez specifically, needs to understand the physicality, and he needs to be calm-minded. He's too temperamental, and you can see that. You know, he does get angry. He just needs to calm it down. Hopefully he doesn't bite someone, very similar to Suarez and his Uruguayan compatriot, let's say. But no, let's see how that goes. Another team that I wanted just to highlight, yes, Spursies did win 2-1, but another team that I really wanted to highlight was Brentford versus Leeds. I did have it as Leeds to win, but Brentford, you know, showcasing the team and the style that they have and the passion that they have with the team that they do, you know, have with the players. It's a case where, you know, Tony has been absolutely phenomenal, not just this year, but last season as well. It's only going to be a matter of time where a top 6 club, even like West Ham included, I do feel they'll go for the purchase for Ivan Toney. 3 beautiful goals, one being a free kick and the other one being a beautiful you know, lob ball in with like, I think he done like 3-4 man. You know, beautiful player, and he's always mentioned as well on his how do you say it, like his tweets, that he's always bantered, like, you know, he's always at a small club, like when is he going to progress into the larger club scene side of things. So one player to watch out for sure, Ivan Toney, and maybe his moves into, let's say, the top 6 as such. But yeah, so talking about Brighton versus Leicester and today's matches, as well as United versus Arsenal, I do predict that Brighton will win 2-0. They have lost two key players, as mentioned, Cucurella as well as Basuma, but what Graham Potter, I've bigged this man up for so many times now, man. Like, he can't get as much praise that I'm giving him, because he is one of the best, most underrated managers in the league so far. You know, he's just done a fantastic job with Brighton, losing 2 key players and then sustaining that with the side and doing well. You know, some great performances with some other teams, and I do see them, you know, doing well against Leicester, who haven't done well at all this season. You know, there hasn't been much from Brendan Rodgers' side in terms of like signings. You know, his main focus has been on the long-term side of things, and, you know, keeping those players that he has had injured on the long run from last season to be integrated back in the team. But then it's always going to be a tough one, you know, around these areas, because, you know, they're rock bottom at the table. They haven't had one game that they've won this season. Brighton with a very good, you know, form of 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss. 4th in the position of the league at the moment. And again, I see them winning. I just don't see them losing this. Well done, and then, of course, you got United versus Arsenal. A great battle, especially as Arsenal haven't lost this season in the league. 5 wins out of 5. 13 goals scored and 4 conceded. You know, great little, you know, start to the season for them. And then, of course, Man United having 3 wins and then 2 losses. And the wins that they've had, apart from, let's say, Liverpool, the other 2 wins that they've had haven't been very strong wins. You know, they haven't really performed against the likes of, I think it was Southampton that they had, as well as Leicester City. They've just scraped goals in, you know, with a 1-goal deficit. So it's just a case where now, hopefully, Arsenal do showcase the talent that they have. And I do see Arsenal winning this, as mentioned, 2-1. But it's going to be a case where it's going to be the defence that United have now got in terms of Martinez. You got Varane, Dalot, as well as Malacia, competing against the strikers that Arsenal have as well. And that's the case of, I don't know if it's Martinelli, you've got Gabriel, and then Saka as well. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. Both 2 games today are going to be really good to watch. And I think United versus Arsenal, always there as a top, let's say, viewership to watch. But that's it really, guys. Do let me know your thoughts and your predictions for today's matches, and your analysis on how yesterday's games went, and if you do support a team and the result, and what your thoughts are and where areas that they could improve in. But that's it really, guys. I do appreciate you guys as always. As mentioned, this was a match against One Day. They are ranked 4th in the world. We are ranked 9th in the world on seasons, globally on PC. And yeah, it was a good little battle against them. And then tomorrow, a 2-0 win against them video I will post for you guys. But yeah, please do like and subscribe as always. And thank you so much. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Nice,
and bye-bye.
Teak. Well done. Well done. That was beautiful, Teak. That was very beautiful.
Can they do something positive on the counter-attack? It's a neat move.
Oh, passed this so many times, see? That's what I mean.